I think I need to do that again because the last video I was messing my words up throughout the whole of it. I kept saying, yes, I've been doing my ancestry.com. No, I'm doing my family tree on ancestry.com. Missed out a few words. And then throughout the whole of it, I'm just reading back thinking, oh my God, why am I saying it so bad? Like I said, Mary Ann Scott rather than Mary Queen of Scots, which is different because that's actually Mary Stuart. So I feel like I'm trying to say all the information, but I feel like there's so many things to say that I keep like jumping, and that video was way all over the place. So I feel like I should start again. I have lots of different families from lots of different trees, and I've built up quite a few of them. There's the ones that go from James Gerlin all the way through to the Bruce Scott one. That one's the one that I found last week, so I've kind of missed. I haven't really talked much about that one because that was kind of a few days ago excitement, and now I've kind of moved on. Basically, I've found out a whole line of that. I've got my whole B family, so all the surnames of B, fathers, and that goes quite far back too. I think there's like 23 generations of that, so I'm not too sure who's connected with that, but Ancestry.com is actually really good. I should just say that even before I start messing up all my words and start saying everything wrongly, I should say that it's quite good because if you write down like who's your father, or if you say this is my father, that's my grandfather, it will say, oh, we think that this person is that person's father is this person, and then once you put that name, then it will say, well, this person's that first surname is this. And I think what it does, because this is the only way it makes sense, is if it looks at all the people on my list and sees their trees and their what they've got, and then it sort of copies it, saying, well, if this person's if this person is called this and this person's father's called this, then we've got another link, which is this person's father is that one. And because there must be so many, like if you type in, there's a Smith in my family. If you type in Elizabeth Smith, you get thousands of Elizabeth Smiths from all sorts of ages. But if there's Elizabeth Smith in, out of all the 30 cousins that I have, if there's an Elizabeth Smith somewhere in that line, then it would make sense that, and if they're like a fourth cousin, then it would make sense that that's the right Smith, because it's got the blood link is linked to me. And I didn't quite understand that before. When I first did this, I don't know why I really did it. I was trying to see it to see if I had like Moroccan blood or anything interesting in me, but no, before, it's really weird though. When I first did it, it said that I was like 90% English and 10% Scottish. But now that I've built up my tree, it's actually saying that I'm 23% Scottish and like the rest of it is English. And then there's also 2% Swedish and 1% Denmark or something like that. No, it's Norway and Sweden. There's a bit of that in there as well. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And there's a few missing links that I've only gone through like 2 or 3 generations, and just today I've had people contact me about those ones. So so here's me, that's my line, and then you got my parents, their parents, and that parent. That's the line that I've almost filled it up. But I've filled all of them up except for my mum's mum, which I'm waiting for a birth certificate because she was adopted at birth, and we don't really know anything about her other than she did have a brother. And because I found out that I've got a third cousin, so all the people on here on this line are first cousins, all the people on this line are second cousins, all the people on this line are third cousins. And because she's a third cousin, then my mum's mum is on this line, and she's got a brother, so that means her mother is on this line, and then she would have had a daughter, which why she has a brother, if you can't see that. So if she's here, her mother's here, and then she's got another brother. I know this woman who I'm trying to find the information about has got a brother who's here, and because she's a third cousin, because it says how many. I also explained this really badly in the video. There's something like a CM or something. There's a count of how many sigmets or something. I can't remember the word. How many somethings are similar in how many strands of DNA, and she was the highest count. Usually it's like 30, 40. There's quite a lot of 50s. There's loads of 30s, 40s, and 50s. There's quite a few. There's even more 20s, and there's even more 10s. Although I don't even know if it mentions 10s. It might just mention people that are 20 above. But this one's 109. So if you put that in perspective, for her to be 109, she's got to be a third cousin. And there's only four people on this list who are third cousins. So one of them would be her, and the other three, I don't know where they're from. There's one which is Car, and that's the only thing he's put on his tree. The other ones don't have family trees. That's the thing. There's one girl who has a little bit of a family tree, but I can't really collect onto it because I need to sign up and pay £10 a month or something to be able to connect it and see everyone's proper full tree. But yeah, there's four people that are potentially third or fourth cousins, which means that they're all from this line, and I don't have any information other than surname that doesn't match my surname. But of course, because there's four generations there, it's very likely that the surnames have changed over the time. But yeah, I'm getting interested. It's getting a little bit addictive, actually. My sister spent most of the time doing it, and she filled out pretty much all the potentials. I mean, potentials are quite easy. You just go click potential. But I didn't want to fill out the potentials because I wanted to, to actually like look it up online and actually, say, oh, this is connected to this, and find more information. I wanted it to be right. She doesn't care if it's right or not. She just wants to see where it goes, and it did lead to a king. But with me, I'd rather it be right and know the truth. But at the same time, I can't know the truth. I mean, even if I look at online and say, oh, this person's related to that, I mean, does that mean that that's true? Does that mean that that's not evidence that this is the truth? It's, for you need evidence, you need to have the proof that that's the truth. You would actually need to see the birth certificates, and well, to order the birth certificates to find out if this line is correct, you'd need to pay £10 and order every single one of these birth certificates. And I don't even know if these birth certificates actually exist. Do they still exist? Do they keep every single birth certificate that's ever been made? I don't know. I mean, in the past there wasn't that many people, so if you've gone back so many times, so many generations, it's very likely that it's the right one because there wasn't as many people back then. But yeah, anyway, it's quite interesting, and I think just to let you know, I've explained the first video that I made really, really badly. But yes, someone wrote to me saying that they can link James Goland back to Mary, Queen of Scots, that's more impressive than Robert the Bruce, because I don't even know who Robert the Bruce is other than the fact that he's a king, which is also something I left out during the video. I kept explaining how being related to someone is like winning a tenner. I meant being related to a king is like finding a tenner, because at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything, because there is probably one or two illegitimate children in the family, and I have no claim over. Doesn't mean anything. I don't even know. Scotland doesn't even have a king now, so I don't really know. Anyway, it's just information, and it's something that it doesn't really interest me, but at the same time, if I'm Christ, it might interest people because that gives me a better status. Like, I think if you're related to a king or something, it feels like that's something you can't change. That's something that destinies or God or something like that has given you. If you are related to a king, people who are princesses and queens, they would put in that position because it feels like God's chosen them in a way. And if I'm trying to prove that I'm Christ, I guess if I do have king bloodline in long distance is fine. I wouldn't be close because I know that I need to have a normal, average, pretty shitty life. And yes, I think it's better. Like even King David, not that he was a real person, but he had a normal, average, shitty life, and then he grew up to be a king. And it's kind of like it's like a fairy tale almost. It fits into the fairy tale fantasy of the average person, of just being an average, normal person, and then becoming a bit special. So I feel like if me in spirit was to put myself into a body, it would have to be that. It would have to be just of an average normal person that hasn't really achieved much, that's kind of just similar to everyone else. But the fact that there's 22 generations between me and that king, maybe, I don't know about the American result. I can't even say that that's the truth, because that's just something that I've been told, but I need to see a line for that to happen. But it would be something a bit interesting. Like Jesus, he was from a normal background, average working class person, but between him and King David, there was 22 generations. So it'll be interesting. It doesn't prove anything, but it'll be interesting if there's 22 generations between me and an actual king. If there's not, then fine, whatever. But that's something that I would do. And actually, I think making myself Lord, related to 5 Lords of Annandale, I think that's something that I'd rather do. That to me is more of a connection to me. But yeah, yeah, there might be other links. It's a little bit different. I think with there being, the thing is that there must be loads of relations. There must be hundreds of them. But then again, if I am Christ, people might actually get involved in their family tree, because they might be like, wow, I want to see, if I'm third, fourth. I think I had a dream about that. Someone saying that they found out that I was like my 20th cousin or something. I had a dream that someone told me that they were my 20th cousin, and they found it out because of ancestry.com or something. But it would be interesting if in the future, I build up my timeline, and then all the other people that, then other people are kind of stemming to find out who is also from that same line. Maybe we could start a movement and get everyone involved in this. It's a little addictive though, and it doesn't mean anything, because even if you are related to someone, the thing is, I don't really have that many friends. So I feel like if I can't have friends, then having a blood related, okay, you've made a connection even though you're not really connected, and you don't have to have a friendship connection. It's just something that you're connected to via blood rather than by mental friendship or whatever. But I don't know. That's just me yapping on.